Yo dudes, welcome back to another Dragonball Fighterz video. Recently we got some news from the developers themselves where they said they were going to be making some massive changes to the actual battle mechanics in Dragonball Fighterz. So today I wanted to go ahead and throw together a little bit of a fun video where we can all discuss what we believe might be coming to the game as far as these dynamic attacks and defensive options. So we already know aerial guard cancels are becoming a thing. They confirmed that much. But what if they introduced something like a just guard system? Now there's not really chip damage in Dragonball Fighterz, but maybe the perfect guard system can go ahead and protect your blue health from diminishing in certain scenarios. And maybe a little bit of an added bonus is when you just guard an attack, it'll leave you more positive than if you were to just regularly guard it. That way you can go for a riskier option that you typically wouldn't be able to go for. Now the next thing I got on my list here is maybe you can call in your teammates in order to actually stand there and defend for you. Now this would work something a little bit more similarly to the Naruto games, where your teammate would literally physically stand in front of you, blocking one or two attacks that come your way, and your assist would not attack back. This is a purely defensive move here. Now when you do this, the character you're calling in would actually take damage, but to a lessened degree. And this can be useful for situations where if you know you don't have the health to tank a level 3, but you're definitely gonna get hit by it, maybe you can call in a character with more health in order to go ahead and take some of that load off your shoulders. Let's be real, I just want this so I can have Piccolo relive the days with Gohan and Nappa. Now mind you, this wouldn't be like an A assist, B assist, C assist type of deal. This would just be in addition to the assist mechanic. So it doesn't matter what assist you run, you can still go ahead and do this. Along the same vein, I was thinking of team attacks. Once again, harkening back to that Naruto kind of fighting style, where you can have an actual special attack that all of your teammates would go ahead and chip in for. This is something that we kind of already see with the likes of Goku and Gohan, or Krillin and Android 18. But expanding on this idea I think would be really cool. You can kind of incentivize it by dealing some extra damage with these team attacks, and it can allow them for more like unique dialogue options and unique team makeups. Now my next one is completely ignorant and I don't think this would work at all in Dragonball Fighterz. But it's purely fan service, alright? I don't see this coming to the game. I cannot stress this enough. But beam clashes and super clashes I think is something that we all really love. Personally, I think this is much better suited for something like Xenoverse, where like if two spirit bombs collide, then you can actually go ahead and dump more meter into it to hopefully have yours win out. Like that would be dope. I feel like in Dragon Ball Fighterz something like this would kind of kill the pacing of the game, but I could be totally wrong on that. I mean, the ArcSys developers are great, and I'm sure if they really wanted to add this, they could probably find a way to do it and do it well. So if you have any ideas as to how to make that work, leave it in the comments down below. I was kind of thinking of the same kind of premise of dumping meter into it, but still allowing people to have some kind of like bailout option if they need to. Because if you have like 2 bars and you get into a beam clash with somebody who's got 7 bars, well, you're clearly gonna lose. So having a bailout option in that sense is something I think would be necessary for this mechanic. And kind of going along the same vein, and once again, this might be better suited for Xenoverse, I would really love to see a mechanic where we can push a super back. Just like the anime, just like the show, where someone's getting nailed with a massive attack and they like physically have to push it away. I always thought those moments in the show were really tense, and to like relive them in the games would be awesome. And you would only gain access to this pushback mechanic if you were able to just guard the opponent's level 3. So it kind of gives like a big risk reward on both ends. Now people are discouraged from throwing raw level 3s out because it might get pushed back at them, dealing magnified damage. At the same time, if you go for the just guard in order to push back the super, but you mess up, then you're just gonna get nailed by a raw level 3. So I feel like the risk reward is really gratifying there. But let me know what you guys think about that. Once again, another mechanic I think would be better suited for Xenoverse, but I'm throwing it on here because if the ArcSys developers wanted to go ahead and make this work, I'm pretty sure they could find a way to do it. Now the next one I definitely want your guys' opinion on. What do you think about a super dash cancel? The ability to be able to start a super dash and then stop it halfway. There would be a point where you're committed to the super dash where you would no longer be able to cancel, but maybe in like the beginning of the animation, at some point during that period, you can go ahead and decide to cut it off. That way, you don't get nailed by a 2H. And if you think of it, this could potentially lead to a lot of mix-ups in close range. Like if you go ahead and you're doing a block string, you call in your assist and you go for a fake super dash, making your opponent think you're gonna attack overhead, but you immediately fall to the ground and hit a low attack. Oh my goodness, people are gonna find that absolutely annoying. So I don't know if I want them to put that in the game. Now something I think they almost have to add, or at least I really want them to add, and I think it's pretty reasonable to ask for, and that's command normals for every single character. You see, with a lot of these new DLC characters, they all have a bunch of command normals, but the beginning roster, most of them, they don't really have many command normals, if any at all. So filling up every single character's command list would be incredible. This would lead not only to a lot more combo opportunities, new block strings, but potential mix-up opportunities that the characters didn't have access to before. This would change up the meta something fierce, and also change what characters we're seeing at the top played the most often. I think this change in particular could be really healthy for the game. And maybe along the same lines as this, keeping in line with the new dynamic attacks that they're teasing, perhaps we can give all characters a universal sort of cinematic attack, similar to kind of Guilty Gear Strive's Dust attack, where if you fully charge Dust press attack and you press up after that, you enter this kind of stage transition cinematic fight scene where you can go ahead and input different commands to attack your opponent. Now, Dragonball Fighterz doesn't have to copy that exactly one for one, but they could do something a little bit similar, where if you use this universal command normal and you land it, you can enter into this sort of stage transition cinematic attack, where maybe you input different moves to hit your opponent with, and at the end of it, you knock them into a building, or you knock them into a mountain, or maybe you slam them back into the floor, keeping in line with the theme of Dragon Ball, you know, those big, overzealous fights. And once you're done, your character goes back into the fighting position, and the one who was being attacked jumps out of the building, or they jump out from within a crater in the ground, or they jump out of the mountain back into the fighting position. But dudes, that's pretty much it for my list. Tell me what you think of it in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with Dragon Ball Fighterz and all the news coming up, and watch this video next.